Hey everybody, welcome back. If this is your first time, my name's Craig. Welcome to Papa's Custom Cars. So this is the place you come when you want to save a couple of bucks and do repairs on your own. I offer a lot of videos that you guys can watch. So let's get to today's video. So today I'm back to working on the electronics for the Nova, mainly because I had it mounted on a little box in the trunk so that I could access everything and make the car run and everything. Well, now it's getting to the point where I've got to convert this back to being on a solid panel all by itself. And as many of you have run into, and this kind of goes to our channel sponsor, Haisstronica. Most of us, when we're working on this wiring, have a pair of these and a pair of these. And as anybody can tell you, anyone who's used a pair of these, while in their day they were the triumphant thing that you could use to strip wires and hook on connectors and all kinds of stuff, they're hard to deal with sometimes. Basic wire strippers, you'll make a lot of mistakes and cut right through your wire when all you're trying to do is pull off that insulation, and that's never any good. The other thing that we deal with a lot is, like, for example, my Amazon connectors. As you can see, they're in a little bit of disarray, so really hard to deal with. Our channel sponsor today is Haisstronica, and I'm going to show you why this stuff works and why it's great for you. Mainly, put this over here out of the way, they make tools for wire stripping and connectors, all that kind of fun stuff. So we've got our crimping tool, and then we've got our automatic wire stripper that also has the ability to crimp your connectors and everything, kind of like you'd really like to have. This, I've used one like it for quite a while. It was an older version, so it didn't have all the features this new one does. But let me show you some of the stuff that it's got. First, let's start with our connectors. They have their own line of connectors. Just a second to open it up. From small, teeny tiny to very large, all different sizes, and they're individualized. So these are your butt connectors, all in one package. You can get your spade connectors, your round connectors, any connector you want in its own package. And these are nice because you don't have this mess where everything's all intermixed with everything and you can't figure out what's what. You know, you can tell by the color, the size and everything, but I've got different size connectors in here and different types of connectors. So it's really, really unorganized and hard to deal with. The second thing is when you're stripping a wire. Grab one here real quick for you. That's all you know if you haven't seen the video. This is my wiring cart. Made it out of a Home Depot cart. And it has all my wiring on it for doing jobs like this. And if you're going to do this kind of stuff, not only do you need the right tools, but you need the right setup. So normally the way we would do it was we would grab this old connector type thing, we'd pull it open, we'd strip our wire and hope we got the right size, and it's dull and doesn't want to cut, so you'd have to wiggle it around to finally get that thing, and look, no strip. One of the things that you run into these is, even though it says the size, that cutter may be so worn out that it just doesn't cut anymore. That and hooking onto the connector here, you're trying to hold your wire, hold your connector, and hook the whole thing together, and it's just difficult. Well, Haisstronica has taken the need away from that. Again, same with your wire cutters. You would normally just slowly cut around and pray that you didn't go all the way through, and then pull, and then you're right back where you were, so you didn't cut enough, and the next thing you know, you're cutting too much, and you've either unstranded it or messed it up. So again, this is not the tool for wire stripping. That's why it's called a wire cutter. One of the issues that we run into with wiring is it can be very complex, very frustrating. So the last thing we need is to have tools that don't work the way they're supposed to. And this is where Haisstronica really comes into play. I built all of this with that thing, and I wish I'd have had this over here when I was building this. One of these I've always had, the automatic wire stripper, but it never had the adjustments that this one has. This particular one not only allows you to adjust for wire size, but it also has a stop on it to define where you're going to push the wire in, cut, and strip. By using this, you can put your wire into the stop, grab a hold of it, and it'll just strip that little tiny piece of it for you. That's what's really cool about this. And you've got adjustment on here to make it longer or shorter depending upon what you're doing. So in this particular case, and you can also flip it to the side so that you don't have to worry about the stop, and you can strip the wire naturally just the way you would. But look how quick that stripped the wire, and all it did was take off the little insulation and no extra wires, just by a simple little adjustment. And then again, this one also has a wire cutter on it. Let me get this mess out of here. Where you can cut your wire to the size that you want it. So you've got the wire stripper, the wire cutter, and you also have both insulated and non-insulated crimpers. So you've got the best of both worlds with this particular tool. Me, I like to take it one step further. I love this stripper, but I'm not real keen on this unless I absolutely positively have to use it. So Haisstronica has answered that question for me too and sent me this. Oh my goodness. If you don't have one of these, you got to get it. Well, you got to get both of them. Like I said, when you're doing wiring, one of the most frustrating things is tools that don't work right. So when we're putting together a wire, we generally will pull it out. So we've got our nice little wire stripper here. We cut our wire to the size that we need. So we just slop it on in there. We've got our cutter, and we cut the wire. Whoop. We just put it on into the cutter itself to the size we want it, and then cut what we need. Boom. We take our wire stripper and we put it in the wire stripper like so. We put our stop on there. And like I said, you can adjust the stop in or out depending upon how large you want it to be. You just push this in and turn it, and it opens up wider or shorter depending upon what you want. So we put it in, get to the stop, just like so, strip the wire, and boom. Nice clean wires. Now, I cut this one a little long again so that I can show you how this fixes that. You just grab a hold of it again, put it on in there to the size you want it, cut it, and boom, you're good to go. So now we've got two nice little nubbies on the end here. This is where this tool comes in neat. This is a crimper that ratchets. So you can ratchet it shut to the size that you want. And then you just release it. You just grab hold and release it. Now here's the cool thing about this that beats the heck out of that old one is this will hold it for you. So it's got your size on there. So you just put it in the appropriate size. You ratchet it to the point where you are for that size, and it holds it for you. So your hand's free. So you don't have to mess around with holding 12 things at the same time, getting this thing lined up and in place and everything else. It's there for you, and it's holding on to it. So in this case, we're just going to go ahead and slide that on in there. We're into place, and we go ahead and crimp it down, and it ratchets till it stops. You get to the end, it releases, and boom, you've got a nice, tight connection. You don't have to worry about it coming loose or anything of that nature. And then you just connect your other side to the other side, and you're good to go. So in this particular case, we'll go ahead and crimp both sides, and I'll kind of show you what I mean. You cut a little bit of this wire off. Oops, got to get the cutter. Didn't get it in the cutter. And again, you grab hold of our connector or our ratcheting and it fits right into that little groove. You put your wire in. Oops, I made a mess out of it. There we go, and we're in. Ratchet are closed. She releases, and boom, you've got a great connection here that's not going to come loose. And then the cool thing about these Haisstronica butt connectors is, of course, they're shrink. So I've got this thing turned down a little bit too much, but they're shrink connectors, so you just shrink them up to get that complete fit. And you see you're starting to conform to the wiring, and boom, you've got a secure, watertight connection that you don't have to worry about. So yeah, that's the tools that Haisstronica offers. There's a link in the description for both of them. But definitely something you need to get. There's also the different connectors. If you're going to use the tool, use the connector. One of the things about the ratcheting is if you look at the wire, where it crimps it flat. So there's no rounded. A lot of times when you crimp something and you go to pull it, it pulls apart because it's round instead of smashing it flat like this does. It smashes it kind of round, and you end up with a bad connection. So now let's fix our wiring. This positive wire came off. This is the one that goes to the alarm system, or the auto lock. Oh, the windows, I'm sorry. So it's supposed to go right there, and it's not there. So one of the things that I do on these is you'll notice that every single one of them has, there are 4 extra connectors there, and that is for emergencies. And again, this is one of my most watched videos, is building this particular layout. It's basically your fuse box, your alarm system and or automatic power systems, and then of course your relay hookups are over here. Each one of these wires is numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that tells me this is relay 6's connection. And relay 6, if you trace it over, goes over to, where is it? Right here, number 6. So it goes to this connection right here. So you've got your 5 wire relays, and in this particular case, I don't use all 5, so we're going to go ahead and use our wonderful new tool. Holds it in place for us. We can just slide that wire on in and crimp it down. Voila. She is good to go. I'm going to back over a little bit. Now you can tell these are not the Haisstronica type. They don't fit well. But it crimps them anyway, and I guarantee you this is not coming apart. Oh, this is my power windows. Yeah, this is for the power windows. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 goes to number 6. Number 6 is, you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So it goes to this one right here. Or I'm sorry, right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So she goes here. What this particular one does, and the reason it has 2 connections, is this is powered all the time. No matter what the battery is doing, this particular one is powered all the time, and that's for the power door locks. Because if you run them through the circuit like everything else, and you don't have the car on, this won't be powered, and you won't be able to unlock your doors. So this particular one goes right to power, as opposed to through the powered relays. So again, makes it so that it works better. The way the system works here, and like I said, you see 2 different boxes. These 2 different boxes have 2 different purposes. One of them is the car alarm itself. The other one is a unit that has an automatic window opener and closer. So if I unlock the car, I can have the window set to roll down. I don't have that set up because if you're in the rain and you push the button and the windows roll down, that wouldn't be a good thing. But the way this system works is the minute you lock the car, This unit powers up the window for 30 seconds to roll them up, and it'll roll both of them up, doesn't care. So definitely a different thing to have. This is all kind of spread out right now. These boards do come off of the bases. This will all go into one sheet in the trunk on the side, and it's just a matter of me putting it there as I get it. But the main thing about wiring is, there's a few things that you need to pay attention to. Number one being take your time, plan things out. This I wrote it out on a piece of paper before I made it. This particular one, that's the hot to the car itself, to the actual battery. This will actually change. There'll be one that breaks off that goes to a solenoid, a switch solenoid. So instead of having along with having a regular shutoff that's required anytime you have a drag racing thing, you have to have a shutoff. But I also have a solenoid, and that solenoid will be powered by a switch and or the relays, depending upon how I want to set it up. But I can actually set it up to where the power to the car won't turn on until I push that unlock button. So it'll be a nice bypass for somebody who tries to steal your car and figures out they can't do anything without running a bunch of wiring and stuff. So it definitely modernizes everything. With the fuel injection and everything, we've got power windows, we've got power locks, we've got pretty much power everything. We needed more space for our electronics. So again, we ran, these are all the relays, so you can pick 1 through 6. The powers, everything else that be, some are run through the key on and some will be run without the key on. Things like I was saying, the power lock units will run without the key on, but will still run through relays. So it'll be broken out a little bit more, and I can kind of show you that as the time comes a little bit closer. I have started upgrading to the weather pack connectors. I've got them both in the car and here. And then as these progress, these boards, this particular one will probably stay the same as it is, but this particular one may have a weather pack in it too. I haven't done these in a weather pack yet. They've got multiple grounds going to multiple grounds here and here, and then a main ground going to our main ground for our fuse box. But this gives me 12 more circuits in the car that I don't have in the old style fuse box. It also upgrades to the newer fuses, the newer blade style fuses, so that definitely makes a big addition to it. But the way it's basically laid out, that's kind of the way it is. Like I said, this particular board, this is nothing but the arming and disarming of the alarm system. It also takes care of the door locks, because the door locks are connected to the system itself. So this connects to the door locks, which are these 2 wires here, and then the other ones are the power windows. So there's a lot going on right here. But again, all I have to say is when you're wiring your car, take your time, take a piece of paper, write everything out, color code everything. Like this particular one, everything hot is red, everything ground is going to be black or is black. And then each relay's got different colors that they come with: the black, the blue, the red, the yellow, and the white. And a lot of these relays, these are 5-position relays, but some of them only use 4 positions. They can be used both ways. And you'd have to do a little bit of research on a relay. There's a million YouTube videos out there about it. But this is kind of how the harness goes. All of them are grounded to the fuse block. The powers and the triggers and everything run over here to this little block here, and then you can hook in whatever you want. There are 6 different circuits that you can use. Like I said, one's reserved for windows, one reserved for locks. So there's 4 other relays. And then I've got space for extras. This board also has 1 extra relay. So if something happens, you can pull off of this one and hook it into this one. Now you'll notice that relay is already gone because I already ran into an issue where I had to replace one of the relays. And having one on the board made that easy. So again, this isn't the final layout of everything, but this kind of gives you a general idea of everything. This is one of the most watched videos I have. Again, Each one of the circuits that are coming out of here to somewhere will be weather packed, and or the new modern style. My wiring cart is so full of stuff. There they are down there. So these are the even more modern style that I'll use for the lower power circuits, where you've got they're the more modern weather pack type circuit where they use the small pins. And we may move to a few of the circuits using that, because this is the next level, and these tools will handle that. So again, the main thing to remember is, if you're going to do something like this, have the right tools. Don't stick yourself with a pair of wire cutters and those old schools. Go see Haisstronica. Get these now. Boy, if I'd have known about these years ago, my life would be so simple. But you definitely want these on your wiring cart or in your toolbox. With that, make sure you like, share, subscribe. If you want to save money on your repairs, this is the place to come. So make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Any comments, concerns you have about this setup, let me know. Like I said, it's rough laid out right now, mainly because it was temporarily in the car until so that I could still drive it. But as we move forward with the car and the trunk and everything in there, this will all be on one basically one board, or one panel board, I should say. And all of this stuff will be separated and easy to see, but you definitely want to lay out your wiring right. So again, with that, make sure you like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, get your tools from Haisstronica. Definitely, there'll be a link down in the description.